Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ladder of Light Gaming. This is your host, Action Jackson Wilson. Action for Jesus on PlayStation 5. And as you can see, yours truly is currently in a meeting with pitching coach Jordan Hicks. Miami Marlins doing some all-star break objectives. Wilson's been kind of shaky his last couple of outings, so coach is looking to get him refocused and reset for the second half of the season, which, believe it or not, the Marlins will have a shot at the playoffs. So, with that being said, I need you guys to like, well, I don't need you to, but I would definitely encourage it anyway. Like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you are new. We are now at 78 total subscribers. Thank you guys so much, as usual. And don't forget, Jesus Christ loves you guys. I don't care who you are or what you've been through, but He doesn't love your sin. If you've yet to make Him your Lord and Savior, I pray that you would do so now. Repent. Turn to Christ. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. And as always, today's live stream is being brought to you by the one and only Jesus Christ, who came to earth as God in the flesh, died on the cross, endured the punishment that we deserved, conquered the grave, resurrected into heaven, and is now preparing a place for each and every one of us. The only question now is, will you accept it? You're only going to one of two destinations when you die, when you leave this earth, heaven or hell. The choice is up to you. The second half of the season will begin with a home series against the Houston Astros, but the Marlins are coming out rusty. Miami, who is within striking distance of the 500 mark, trailing by a slam against the hapless Houston Astros. And here comes Jackson Wilson, who in the first half of the season showed a lot of promise for the Miami Marlins, who drafted him in the third round of the 2025 draft. Jackson Wilson with 27 saves as we play here in mid-July. He is 8 away from tying his career best for a single season. But this is a non-save situation today. Wilson's trying to keep the Marlins alive for basically a miracle. Any more damage for Houston, and this could be all but wrapped up. First pitch of the second half of the season for Jackson Wilson is taken for strike one. For those of you that need catching up, Wilson's in the middle of his third full season in the big leagues. Called up to the Marlins back in 2027. Picked up 15 saves. And then in his rookie campaign, 2028, he saved 31. In 2029, 35 saves. And in 2030, he currently has 27. Here's one lifted down the left field line. Now Wilson's off to a good start out of the All-Star break. He gets his man to begin the ninth. And a little lazy fly ball down the line. One down. This is the top of the order for the Houston Astros, who came into this game as one of the worst teams in the American League. They got to get a win streak going and fast, or else they too will be missing the playoffs. The pitch by Wilson, breaking ball downstairs. It's 1-0. So we're going to take this into 2031 here on Ladder of Light Gaming. This will be a lengthy live stream as usual. You guys don't have to stay for the whole thing, but if you do, much respect to you. Definitely. But whether you're tuned in for a minute, just a couple of moments, we're happy you're here on Ladder of Light Gaming. Hitters count for Gorman on 2-0, and now Wilson will skip one in. It's 3-0. 5-1 Houston, top of the ninth inning here in Miami. It's the first game since the All-Star break for both of these teams. The Marlins enter today's game with a record of 47-50 as Jackson Wilson deals a strike on a 96-mile-an-hour cutter over the inside corner to Nolan Gorman. Now the next delivery is tapped foul, and Wilson's trying to come back and retire Nolan Gorman, who started his career playing for Wilson's favorite team, the St. Louis Cardinals. Now the payoff coming. Strike three called. Gorman will take a seat. This has been quite common throughout Gorman's career. Whether it's backwards or forwards, he usually has a lot of K's next to his name. And Jackson Wilson comes back from 3-0 to set him down. 2 away here in the 9th inning. Wilson's been one of the few bright spots for the Marlins here tonight. And now here is Bryce Matthews. Also, for those of you that are new, we're playing on that GOAT difficulty, but Jackson Wilson made it look like rookie in this 9th inning as he retires the top of the Astros lineup in order. However, the Marlins have a lot of work to do if they're going to pull this one out. It's 5-1 Stros. 3 outs to go for the Marlins. And that's your ball game. Florida was able to get a runner on base, but that was far from enough against this Astros team who was in complete command from the beginning. Wilson accomplishes his goal of making it through today's appearance without a free pass. That was a challenge that his coach gave him during that meeting in the bullpen. So the Marlins, who are sitting in last place in the National League East, dropped to 47-51. However, that's a much improved mark from a season ago. Jackson Wilson will drop his ERA back below 5. It's at 4.89. And that'll take us to the end of our first series of today. Looks like the Astros took it, because more than likely Wilson has to save it if the Marlins are going to pull off a win. We don't have very many blowout wins on our schedule. Surprisingly, we won 5-4 yesterday. I didn't even pitch in that game. But as you can see, the next night, we got absolutely embarrassed. And now here's a team that Jackson Wilson needs a little redemption against. It has been a redemption tour wholly for Jackson Wilson because he's been dominating a lot of teams that had his number a season ago, including the Padres, the Mets, the Nationals, the Braves. And now he's looking to finish off the Giants, who came back from a 3-run deficit to beat Wilson back in the Bay Area. Wilson is also looking for some redemption against Arizona, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Wilson going for his 28th save of the season. He's wearing his Florida Marlins throwback, and he'll deal with Aiden Miller leading off. He is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, and he's hit into a fielder's choice. First save opportunity of the second half for Jackson Wilson, and here we go. 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Giants. First pitch from Jackson Wilson is hit down the left field line. It's going to go foul. Miller was up there ready to hit. Got out in front of that fastball, and it's 0-1. Wilson working from the stretch with the bases empty. The delivery. Miller rolls it over. It's foul, 0-2. So Wilson, who's retired all 3 hitters he faced ever since coming out of the break, trying to stay hot today against the Giants. Off the end of the bat, Aiden Miller skies one into shallow left, 1 down. So Jackson Wilson, who had a 3-run lead in the bottom of the ninth at San Francisco prior to blowing that game, is out for redemption here in front of his home fans in Miami. Dax Kilby. Wilson kicks and delivers. That's fouled away. 98-mile-an-hour fastball in a good spot. That pitch in on the hands of the left-handed batting Kilby. Now Wilson's next delivery on the way is a changeup. Knee high, but it's a little bit low. Missed the zone by a couple inches, 1-1. Wilson ready from the stretch again. Here comes a 1-1 pitch to Max Kilby. Sharp hook on that breaking ball, but again, it misses down and away. And now at the count 2-1, Wilson's going to go right after Kilby here. And try to jam him with the fastball up and in. The delivery. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Jackson Wilson. Crowd rises to its feet in Miami. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Wilson strikes out Kilby. 2 away in the ninth. There's that disappearing changeup, and now the last man standing for the Giants, Caden Wallace. Wilson again going into King David mode. Got a Giant standing in front of him, but he's showing no fear, and that looked like a strike. Wilson's going to take a look. Thing looked like it nibbled the outside corner, but it barely missed. 1-0 from Jackson Wilson. Both teams with 6 hits in this game. The Marlins ahead 3-1. Giants looking for a 2-out rally. They just need this guy to reach to have a chance. There's a strike over the inside corner, 1-1. And that's a good spot to throw good pitches, especially when you're on GOAT difficulty. Any mistake, you're usually going to get burned by it 90% of the time. 1-1 from Wilson. Downstairs, 2-1. There's that tricky changeup that just fooled Max Kilby, but Wallace doesn't take the bait. 2-1 the count. Wilson, who came into this game 27 for 38 in save opportunities, looking to add to his resume. He's 1 strike away. Wilson trying to surpass 30 saves for a 3rd consecutive year. 35 is his career high. With this save here, he would be at 28. The pitch on the ground down the 3rd base line. That's going to go foul. It looked like it might have been the ball game right there, but the Giants stay alive. Now another Uncle Charlie on the way from Wilson in the dirt, ball 3. On deck is Ozuna, who would represent the tying run if he can get to the plate. Wilson trying to prevent that from happening, and he's going to give Wallace a hittable pitch. He's going to take something off it with a changeup. 3-2 on the way from Wilson. On the ground to first, glove, and he steps on the base to end it. Wilson with back-to-back perfect 9th innings, and this one comes in a save situation. 28 saves here in 2030 for Jackson Wilson, and a good start to this 4-game set for the Marlins, who get a little redemption after the San Francisco Giants walked them off in the Bay Area. Wilson, of course, was the losing pitcher of that game. But this month, he has been nothing short of dominant. 2.16 ERA. Wilson getting back to his old form that he displayed in the early months. He's working on a career-low ERA. There's a lot of optimism being shown from Wilson, as well as a lot of other players on this Marlins roster. The Marlins improved to, I believe, 49-53 with that win. And as you can see in the top left corner, Wilson is now up to a 67 overall. The reason I had such a big jump right there from 59 to 67 is because I'm working on my stuff now. I got my attributes up, and now I'm looking to put some more movement on my pitches. That's something you absolutely need to have playing on GOAT difficulty. And here comes Wilson again. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to wearing these uniforms the rest of our season, because we definitely play our best baseball in them more often than not. There are the updated numbers for Jackson Wilson, now 28 for 39 in save chances. He's got an opportunity at another one here. He's going to need 4 outs in this one. Sebastian Walcott leading off. Walcott had a big hit against Wilson back in San Francisco. Wilson wants some redemption against him as well. There's a strike right at the knees, 0-1. Now he's going to go with the slider that tails away from a right-handed batter. The pitch. And Walcott able to lay off, but Wilson wants the umpire to take a look. He may have taken strike 2, and he did. So 2 quick strikes from Jackson Wilson with a 2-run lead. This is his first hitter he has faced, pitching with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Wilson has his sign. The 0-2 pitch to Walcott.
Ball 1.
Just inside. 1-2. 6 up, 6 down thus far for Jackson Wilson over the course of his first 2 outings. The pitch to Walcott in the dirt. The runner at first will stay put. And Walcott, who represents the tying run for the Giants, will settle back in. Crowding the plate slightly. Now the 2-2 delivery from Jackson Wilson on the way. Outside, ball 3. And now all of a sudden, Wilson's in danger of losing Walcott after getting in front of him 0-2. He's going to attack him right here at the cutter. Payoff to Walcott from Wilson. Ripped foul. That was a good pitch in on his hands. Now we're going to go changeup. Another payoff from Wilson. Here it comes. Line, foul again. The count remains full. Here comes another changeup. Wilson brings it. On the ground. Third baseman knocks it down, but there's no play. And the 8th inning will continue. First and second with 2 out. What an at-bat by Sebastian Walcott. Behind in the count, 0-2. He works it full. Fouls off a couple more pitches. And then he gets on base, representing the tying run. Now it's Aiden Miller. The pitch by Wilson is off the plate, ball 1. Now all of a sudden the go-ahead run is at the plate for San Francisco. And Miller, who used to be with the Cincinnati Reds, to my best memory, he was. Has a home run in his career against Wilson. A big fly would put the Giants on top. That looked like a strike. And Wilson again looking into our home plate umpire. He'll get the corner on that one. It's 1-1. So Wilson came in and gave up an infield hit to Sebastian Walcott. Now he's trying to keep the Marlins ahead. Retire Aiden Miller to get us to the bottom of the 8th. That looked like it was off the plate. But the catcher looks out to Wilson, trying to calm him down. 2 balls and a strike to Aiden Miller. Hitters count right here for the young Giant. The pitch by Wilson. Strike 2. Well, he blew that one right by him. Miller was not expecting a gutsy pitch like that. Now Wilson's going to climb the ladder. 2-2 pitch to Miller. Got him! Strike 3! Tied him up! No chance! Perfectly placed over the inside corner, and Jackson Wilson is clutch. Gave up the infield hit to Walcott, but he leaves 2 on base here in the top of the 8th. Marlins up 2. 3 outs away from another win against the Giants. And now it is a 4-run Miami advantage as Dax Kilby leads off for the Giants. This has been the redemption series for the Fish thus far, and Jackson Wilson in particular. Wilson, who struggled tremendously, giving up a 3-run lead and surrendering a walk-off home run in the last series in San Francisco against the Giants, but that's upstairs. 1-1 to Dax Kilby. Here comes a hook from Jackson Wilson. A beauty. The umpire didn't give Wilson the call, but he's going to change it right now. I know for a fact that that's getting overturned. Yep. That actually was further outside than I thought. But the Marlins still get the call, and now here comes the 1-2 pitch to Dax Kilby from Jackson Wilson. Fools him with that inside pitch. Fly ball into center. That's caught. 1 down in the 9th. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, if we're hitting our spots right there, we could be one of the best pitchers in this league. I don't care about our overall being just a 67. We are succeeding so far in terms of conquering the challenge of GOAT difficulty. There's been adversity, but Wilson is hanging in there, and now a fly ball into right. This should be the 2nd out. There it is. Everything going Jackson Wilson's way to begin the 2nd half of this season. 1 out away from a 4-out save. It would be his 29th save of the season. Wilson to Jared Cerna. Strike 1. Beautiful changeup. Dropping about 5 feet at 84 miles per hour out of the hand. Now the 0-1 from Wilson. Perfect release, but Cerna doesn't take the bait on that Uncle Charlie. 1-1 the count. All Marlins here today, leading the San Francisco Giants 5-1. The pitch by Wilson. Fastball up and in, and there's a fly ball into deep left field. Back at the track, at the wall, and this ball is going to go. A 2-out home run for Jared Cerna. And he says, hold everything. And he brings the Giants to within 3. It is 5-2 here in the 9th. So Jackson Wilson, who is pitching nothing but zeros out of the All-Star break, his streak comes to an end right there on the home run by Cerna. Now Caden Wallace. The catcher will go out and have a word with Wilson. Just got to flush it. Come back at the next batter. The pitch to Caden Wallace is strike 1. So nothing hurt for Jackson Wilson. He still has a 3-run lead. Going to finish off the Giants with 2 out, nobody on. The pitch, swing and a miss. Wallace quickly in the hole, 0-2, down to his last strike. He looks completely confused in there, so we're going to try to end this with a slider. The pitch by Wilson, line foul. That pitch was a little bit up, but Wilson gets another life. The Giants can't take advantage of that hanger. Now the 0-2 again to Wallace. Little tapper to first base. I don't know how he made contact with that pitch, but no matter. He makes the last out. Jackson Wilson celebrates his 29th save, And the Marlins have beaten the Giants 2 out of the first 3. They guarantee themselves at least a split in this 4-game set in Miami. Wilson gave up a 2-out solo home run, but that was minimal damage. The Marlins still won this game in convincing fashion. They pick up their 50th win of the season. The Fish improved to 50 and 53 overall. As we approach the month of August, Marlins doing everything they can to stick around in terms of contending for a playoff spot. They're definitely going to have to be a lot better in the final 8 to 9 weeks. But they're definitely showing a lot of improvement over the first 2 seasons, which, by the way, were absolute nightmares as a whole. I mean, yeah, we had 30-plus saves in each of them, but, you know, team success is a lot more important than individual for me. It's just nice to see our new young guys starting to stir up some optimism. All right, this is going to be a tough road trip right here. Heading to Boston to take on the Red Sox. Little interleague match. We'll look at Jackson Wilson. He'll be out to protect the 3-1 lead here at the historic Fenway Park. This is Ladder of Light Gaming, MLB 26 Road to the Show. With yours truly, Action Jackson Wilson. We are currently in the middle of Season 3, 2030, with the Miami Marlins, the team that drafted yours truly, a relief pitcher, back in the 2025 draft with a 3rd-round pick. And now here he is, trying to get to 30 saves in all 3 of my seasons in the majors. Sean Murphy leading off for the Red Sox. Goes after a first pitch fastball from Wilson and lifts it in the air to center field. This ball is going to be caught in the deepest part of the park. 1 down. Jackson Wilson pitching to contact and letting his defense do the work behind him. Tristan Casas at the plate for the Red Sox, who need a guy to get on base. Get the tying run to the plate. The pitch by Wilson inside. As he went for the cutter. Start out this at bat with Tristan Casas. 1-0 the count. Bottom of the ninth, Fenway Park, interleague action, Marlins and Red Sox. Wilson, strike 1. Well, that's a beautiful curveball. That definitely needed some improvement at the start for Wilson, but he has definitely beefed up all 5 of these pitches in his arsenal. He's looking very, very crisp, with the exception of that 1 home run he surrendered against the Giants in his last outing. But that was a solo blast. He still was able to protect the 3-run lead. Picked up his 29th save, and with the way he's going right now, following that swing and miss by Casas, he could be on his way to his 30th today. Downstairs 2-2. Casas has been with multiple clubs already throughout his young career. He's back with the Boston Red Sox. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way from Jackson Wilson, headed home. Casas with a fly ball. This one into left center field. 2 quick outs for Jackson Wilson here at Fenway. Another pitching clinic today for the Miami Marlins. But it's not complete without out 27, and Wilson knows it. Nothing to celebrate yet. Got to retire Yanier Diaz. There's strike 1. Good way to start him off. That was over the outside corner. Now the 0-1 from Wilson. Breaking ball is grounded to second. How about Jackson Wilson to begin the second half of the season? In all 3 of his full seasons in the bigs, he has 30 or more saves. Wilson had 31 as a rookie, 35 last year, and 30 here in 2030. 30 for 41 overall. Jackson Wilson continues his tremendous month of July as the Marlins start out this road trip with a victory at Fenway. As a matter of fact, we avoided a sweep today. That's a relief. All right, on to Philadelphia. While we got a break in the action, thank you to everybody who may be new. Of course, if you've already been subscribed or if you've watched our videos before, it's great to have you back as well, but we're going to give the warmest welcome to the first time listeners slash viewers slash whatever you want to call yourself. Great to have you guys here. If you guys are listening or watching to this, the gospel is for you. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one may come to the Father except through him. Bottom of the ninth inning, it's Marlins and Phillies here in Philadelphia. Wilson, who has had nothing but bragging rights against the defending world champs, has no intentions of letting up here at Citizens Bank Park. He'll deal with Seiya Suzuki with first base open. The Marlins may be up by 3, but they're far from out of the woods here. And how about Jackson Wilson moving up the leaderboard in the National League in terms of overall saves? Wilson is now tied with Colorado's Brad Lord for the 5th overall spot. Wilson can surpass Lord if he can get the final 3 outs of this one without the Phillies rallying from a 3-run deficit. Here is Seiya Suzuki. The Marlins entered the bottom of this 9th leading 6-2. But Philadelphia has gotten right down to business in terms of putting together a rally. Suzuki on the first pitch will lift one into center field. Sends the center fielder back a few steps. He'll make the catch. The runner at second will not move. Very important first out here in this 9th inning for Jackson Wilson. Rain beginning to fall here in Philadelphia. Wilson trying to make this quick, so we don't have to worry about any delays. There's the Philly fanatic on top of the home dugout, trying to pump up the fans. The Phillies trailing by 3. They're at the bottom of their order right now with the number 8 hitter Tyler Freeman, and he looks at a strike on an 86-mile-an-hour changeup. Phillies need one more base runner to have a chance. Wilson steps into an 0-1. That's popped down the left field line foul. So a couple of tricky pitches up in the zone from Wilson. He went changeup and then slider. Now he's going to take the elevator to the bottom floor on this breaking ball. The pitch outside. Wilson missed location with it. It's 1-2 to Tyler Freeman. Freeman has put together a solid season for the Phils, hitting .314. Trying to come up big against Wilson here in the bottom of the 9th. His team down 6-3. The pitch. Slider. Good eye right there. 2-2. There's that put-away pitch for Jackson Wilson, particularly against right-handed batters. Now he's going to go fastball in. Runner at second, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th. The pitch by Wilson. Freeman stays alive. Still 2-2. Changeup. Wilson kicks and delivers. Tapper towards second. Gloves, throws, 2 down. So that runner at second that's not charged to Wilson, he'll move up to third. And now Romy Gonzalez. Tying run remains on deck for the Phillies. Wilson, the kick, and the pitch. Gonzalez with a high fly ball into the right center field gap. This ball is off the wall. 1 run scores. Gonzalez will dig for second. And the Phillies are still alive, and they'll go back to the top of the order following Gonzalez's 27th double of the year. Not bad for a 9-hole hitter. That run that just scored was not charged to Wilson, but now it's all on him with Justin Crawford stepping to the plate. Crawford representing the tying run. Here we go. The pitch by Wilson. Strike 1 over the inside corner. Crawford has a home run in his career against Wilson. A big fly will tie it, with the Marlins leading 6-4 in the bottom of the 9th. Wilson trying to pick up another big save against the defending world champs. Tap foul by Crawford, and the Phillies are down to their last strike in front of this loud and obnoxious crowd at the bank. Chance of let's go Phillies. The 0-2 pitch to Crawford. Inside and low, 1-2 from Wilson. Phillies refusing to go away, as we say quite often. The toughest out to get in a baseball game is number 27. Wilson's going to go back inside with the cutter. The pitch to Justin Crawford. Inside, 2-2. Goat difficulty being goat difficulty here in the bottom of the 9th. It feels like the real thing. It's tough to strike out a major league batter. Wilson's trying to pull it off here in the ninth inning. The pitch. Broken bat. Crawford. Tapper, bare hand, but he's going to beat it. And now the throw gets away, and it goes out of play and goes into the seats. It's 6-5, and Crawford, who represents the tying run, will move into scoring position. A great pitch by Jackson Wilson with 2 strikes, but Crawford still hits it in the perfect location, and despite that bare hand, he would have beat the throw even if it was a good one. And now it comes down to Trey Turner. Tying run at second. 2 down in the ninth. Philadelphia looking for a memorable come-from-behind win. And Wilson's looking to pick up his teammate following that error that could be costly over at third. Trey Turner digs in. Line, foul. Wilson gave him the changeup instead of the fastball. Strike 1. Trey Turner, who has struggled this year with runners in scoring position, trying to come up clutch right here. The pitch. Strike 2. Beautiful breaking ball over the inside corner from Wilson. And again, the Phillies are down to their last strike. The 0-2 pitch from Wilson. Popped up into right. That's another good pitch, and Wilson survives the Phillies yet again. The Phillies made it interesting. They trailed 6-2 entering the ninth. They made it 6-3, forcing the Marlins to bring Wilson in the game. Wilson allowed an unearned run to score, and then another following an error by the third baseman, but he strands the tying run at second. He wins another battle against a proven superstar, Trey Turner. And he is now 31 for 42 in save opportunities. We'll definitely take it, guys. Good effort by the Phillies. They're not the world champs for nothing. They're never out of a game. But a great performance by Jackson Wilson based on the circumstances, the ballpark he was playing in, and the team he was up against. And with this series coming to an end, I think this is going to take us into the month of August. Ooh, we got a message from the Marlins analytics department. Wonder what that's about. Jackson Wilson continuing to achieve goals he set for himself here in the second half. All right, 1-run lead against Atlanta. Can Wilson start out the month of August with his 32nd save? Drake Baldwin will lead it off for the Braves, who owned Jackson Wilson in 2029, but 2030 has been a different story. That's been the case for almost all of Wilson's rivals. Wilson has taken every single one of those battles personal, and he continues to improve on his game every single year. 31 saves, 4 away from tying his career high. Wilson just moved into 4th in the National League in terms of the most saves. And he'll deal with Drake Baldwin to begin the top of the ninth. A great crowd paid attendance here today at Lone Depot Park in Miami. Wilson looking to shut the door. Send the home fans away happy. Baldwin, first pitch swinging on the fastball, fouls it. Strike 1 from Jackson Wilson. Bottom of the order for Atlanta, trailing by 1. The delivery. Breaking ball, Baldwin takes it low. 1-1 from Jackson Wilson. So far in the second half of the season, Wilson's yet to blow a save. Giving up a couple of runs, but overall he has been absolutely dominant. There's a changeup over the outside corner for strike 2. Wilson, who has now surpassed 100 saves for his career, working his way toward 200 as we speak. 1-2 pitch to Baldwin. Able to fight off that tough cutter. Still 1-2. Wilson from the stretch with the bases empty. The kick and the 1-2 pitch. Swinging a foul tip, and the catcher holds on. 1 away in the ninth. Bailey, who has been a solid catcher overall for Miami here in 2030, continues to be Mr. Reliable back there for Jackson Wilson as his battery mate. Now Michael Harris. Harris, one of the Braves that love hitting against Wilson. trying to come up big here in this ninth inning. That's taken outside, ball one. Wilson, who's already picked up a couple of saves this year against Atlanta, trying to stay hot right here against Michael Harris. 1-0 pitch. Ripped into the gap in right center field. This is trouble, and Michael Harris has got at least two bases. Right fielder gets to it quickly, and the tying run is in scoring position for Atlanta. Harris with his 18th double overall. Wow, Atlanta's doing a lot of celebrating for a team that is yet to tie the game. But that could happen lickety-split. It could actually happen in just one pitch to Wisely. Here's a little flare into right, and lo and behold, the Braves have tied it. Wilson with his 12th blown save of the year. A little bloop is all it took. 4-4 in the ninth. The bottom of the order for the Braves does it again. Wow. But Jackson Wilson is not on the loser's end. That is worth mentioning. We can keep it tied right here and get us up to the plate with a chance to win it. Murakami. Ball one. So Wilson, who got the first out, gives up a double and then a base hit that allowed the tying run to score for Atlanta here in the ninth. It's 4-4. Murakami waits for the next pitch from Wilson. Fastball for a strike, 1-1. So Wilson has his first blown save of the second half. He looks in to get his next sign. 1-1 to Murakami. Strike two. Umpire didn't call it, but Wilson's going to change that right now. Again, confident, and it did catch the corner. 1-2 to Murakami. We now have a 4-4 game here in the ninth. 13 hits for Atlanta, 10 for Miami. Now Wilson's going to elevate with this cutter to Murakami. Struck him out. 2 down in the ninth. So Wilson, who blew the save, giving up a one-out double and a game-tying bloop single, trying to clutch up against the top of the Atlanta order. And here's Matt Olson. The pitch by Jackson Wilson on the way. Olson moved his shoulder slightly. He doesn't go through with the swing. It's 1-0. Here comes a 1-0 from Wilson. Olson goes after that 99-mile-an-hour fastball in on the corner. Bites it off foul, 1-1. Wilson's going to go right back to that same spot, but a little higher in the zone. 2-1 to Matt Olson. 4-4 game here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Wilson looks in for another sign. He kicks and deals to Matt Olson. Tap foul, it's 2-2. Wilson retired the first hitter he faced in the ninth. Gave up a double to Michael Harris and then a bloop single, which allowed the Braves to tie it up. Wilson strikes out Murakami, and now a 2-2 pitch to Matt Olson. Low ball 3 on deck. Bryce Terang. Atlanta looking for a comeback win here in Miami. They trailed 4-3 entering this ninth inning. Wilson trying to keep them right here. Give the Marlins a chance to walk it off. The pitch. A little bit low, and Matt Olson takes the walk. So the inning will continue on that free pass, and a rare free pass at that. And now the manager is going to take Wilson out of this game. So that closes the book on Wilson, at least for right now. That runner at first and second is charged to him. That's his responsibility. But let's see if his teammates can back him up following that tough blown save.
Now pitching for the Marlins.
Really only made one bad pitch, and that was on that double from Michael Harris. Even on that game-tying single, that was a good pitch because that was a little blooper. And it looks like Atlanta's going to come back and take this one here tonight. You can hear the groan of the crowd. That is indeed the case. The win for Fuentes, the loss for Neighbors, and Abreu picks up his 35th save for the Braves, who take the first game of this important August series in Miami. But Jackson Wilson, I'm sure, will pick himself back up quickly. As you can see, he is coming off a tremendous month of July. Not how you want to start August, but it's only one run. Nothing hurt. Unfortunately, one run was all it took for Atlanta to tie this game and come back ultimately, but it is what it is. That's baseball. As they say, on to the next one.
Now pitching for the Marlins. Number 4.
Wilson trying to get some payback against Atlanta today. Actually, I take that back. It looks like we're down 3-0. Jackson Wilson will enter and face Austin Riley. So Atlanta, after coming from behind in the previous game, looking to take complete control of this series, but Jackson Wilson looking to tune his game back up for the remainder of the season. The 0-1 to Riley is rolled over to short. Sliding stop, unfortunately he dropped it. So that's going to be an infield single to begin this ninth inning for Austin Riley. Now Drake Baldwin. Strike one, but the umpire calls it low. I think that was a strike, umpire. Better take another look. Yep. That was right at the knees. All right, here is Wilson. His next pitch for the lefty. Change up for strike two. This has been a very effective pitch for us so far. We'll go back to that cutter in on his hands. He's got no choice but to go after it, and he actually handles it. That's into the left field corner, and Atlanta's piling on. Riley's going to be sent, and he is going to be out. Great job, guys. Way to not give up on the play. One away in the ninth. So back-to-back singles against Wilson, but the defense backs him up. The runner advances to second, and now here is Ozzie Albies. The pitch. Strike one from Wilson. Albies 1 for 3 today with a double. He stands back in. Batting from the left side, Wilson throws from the right. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Ozzie Albies. Wilson's going to go back down low. The Uncle Charlie. Albies just got a piece. 0-2 from Jackson Wilson. He is currently sitting at 30 saves here in 2030. We are now in the month of August. Wilson's third full season in the bigs. That is foul. Off the bat of Ozzie Albies, it remains 0-2. Next pitch from Jackson Wilson on the way. Slider popped in the air to center by Albies. Good pitch by Wilson with 2 strikes. The runner will tag and go to third with 2 down. So Wilson, who came into this game with the Marlins trailing 3-0, trying to put up a 0 and keep the fish within striking distance. But he first has to get through Carlos Correa. A very talented bat, even at his current age. Maybe a little longer in his prime as he was with Houston and Minnesota. But he is still a very, very valuable weapon for the Braves. He tried to get that call reversed. But that pitch caught the inside corner. And that Wilson fastball. Now the 0-1 to Carlos Correa with a runner at third. Outside ball one. Wilson looking to put up a 0 after giving up a run and blowing a save against Atlanta yesterday. It was Wilson's 12th blown save of the year. The 1-1. That is ripped fair inside the left field line. And there's some insurance for Atlanta. An RBI double for Carlos Correa. And the Marlins struggles continue. 10th double the season for Correa. Not a bad pitch from Jackson Wilson. That was in on his hands. He was able to fight it off. Michael Harris. Ripped foul. Harris got a rally started for Atlanta last night. Batting with 1 out, nobody on in the ninth with his team trailing by a run. Harris smoked a double into the right center field gap and scored a game-tying run on an RBI bloop single. Strike 2 from Jackson Wilson. Michael Harris, who's hitting .217 with runners in scoring position. Wilson looking for some redemption. You could see it in his eyes, but Harris staying alive. Still 0-2 from Jackson Wilson. The 0-2 to Harris. Breaking ball in the dirt. Carlos Correa, who had an RBI double, will stay put over at second. Now another 2-strike pitch to Michael Harris. Inside, umpire will double check, and the call will stand. Now another fastball. 2-2 coming. Grounded to first. And this time, Jackson Wilson retires Michael Harris. We go to the bottom of the ninth. 1 run on 2 hits for Atlanta. Last call for the Marlins. Los Santos, Sanoa, and Canarella. Marlins trying to get on the board first and foremost, and then come up with a slam to tie it. But that is not the case. Atlanta takes the series. Matter of fact, they sweep the Marlins here in Florida. That's not good for the Marlins, especially being in a, well, I'm not going to say pennant race because technically we're not in it at the moment, but we were within striking distance, a lot closer than the previous 2 years. But now, just like that, we're 10 games under 500. I think reality might be setting in once again, ladies and gentlemen. But nevertheless, this has been the best season of Jackson Wilson's career thus far. He continues to show a lot of promise. He is on a great pace towards setting another career high in total saves. Wilson's been giving up a couple of runs off and on, but overall, he's been great, especially ever since the All-Star break. All right, we got a little off day. Jackson Wilson will go in the bullpen, work on the break of his fastball. We've definitely come a long way this year, guys. The overall is all you need to look at. Went from being a 59 to a 67. All right. The Mets-Marlins rivalry has reached its next chapter. It'll be Jackson Wilson facing Trent Grisham in a tie game. Looking to get the Marlins to the plate with an opportunity to walk it off and snap this losing streak. We want to avoid the closer at all times, or at all costs, however you want to say it. The Marlins, who had an early 4-0 lead entering the third inning, well, they've now lost it. And now they have to stand firm with Jackson Wilson on the mound, making his 48th appearance. Danielle, we got the bikini bottom colored uniforms. It actually matches the shirt in your profile picture. That's pretty cool. Good to have you here. Part of the order for the Mets as Wilson brings the first pitch. That's lifted foul down the left field line, strike one. MLB 26, the show here today. Walking Dead tomorrow. Speaking of The Walking Dead, we've only got 2 episodes left. If you get caught up on the series, I encourage you guys to do so. A lot of content for you guys. Be sure to check it out. And like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you are new. No balls, 2 strikes from Wilson. He's looking to pick up a big first out. Set the tone here in this 9th inning. We're going to tap foul off the bat of Trent Grisham. Wilson trying to be like Doodle Bob. Go absolutely berserk. Become unstoppable. You don't want to get near him. He's dangerous. He's a threat. The 0-2 pitch.
That's a ball.
Inside ball one. I tell you what, guys, if we get a strikeout right here, I'm going to do the Doodle Bob impression. Just for you, Danielle. Danielle's a huge, big SpongeBob fanatic, just like me. The 1-2 pitch. Back to Wilson. He knocks it down, but he can't make the play over at first. So with 2 out, I actually didn't realize there were 2 outs. I thought I had to get 3 outs, but now all of a sudden, we got to go after Francisco Lindor. Go ahead, run it first, 2 down. The pitch by Wilson is at the knees, but taken a little bit low to a red-hot hitting Francisco Lindor, who is 4 for 4 with a home run, a pair of singles, 3 RBIs, a run scored. Triple shy of the cycle, looking to come up big for the Mets here in the 9th inning. Rolls it over, fouled on the first base line, 1-1. Lindor, closed stance. Slightly choked up on the bat handle. 1-1 pitch from Wilson in the dirt. And now Grisham's going to try to take second. He's out of there. I tell you what, I may have not gotten the strikeout, but we're going to do the Doodle Bob for our catcher Bailey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yahoo. Bottom of the 9th inning. Marlins looking to win it. It's 4-4. All right, here we go to extra innings. A fresh slate for Francisco Lindor as he bats with first base open. Facing Wilson. Gonna go cutter in on his hands. The pitch, ball one. So the first full inning of work for Jackson Wilson after picking up the 3rd out of the night. Gave the Marlins a chance to walk it off, but they failed to do so, and now they have to clutch up here in the 10th. Swing and a miss by Lindor. on that disappearing changeup. It's 1-1 from Jackson Wilson. Now Wilson's going to elect to go with the slider to Lindor. The pitch on the ground is short. No movement from the runner at second. One down. That's another clutch pitch from Jackson Wilson. He fooled Lindor with the sweet stuff. Made some decent contact, but it was right at somebody. The shortstop was able to make a clean play, get it over there quick. And now here is Carson Benj. And Jackson Wilson is going to put him on base and set up the potential double play. So a rare free pass from Jackson Wilson. Usually when he issues a walk, it's intentional. But this is still a very dangerous hitter coming to the plate. Now, granted, he is struggling at the moment. But with a major league hitter, you just never know when there's blood in the water. Strike one to Jesus Sanchez. You can't always sense a shark attack, but it'll happen when you least expect it. You got to be careful. Wilson looking to pitch cautiously to Sanchez right here. That's down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. He tried to get Sanchez off balance and roll one over to one of the infielders for the twin killing to get out of the inning. The 1-1 pitch. Look at this here. To third. The tag. And he's out. The classic 6-3. Unassisted at third. And then a perfect throw over to first. Side retired for the Mets in the 10th. But again, the Marlins unable to win it. Here we go again. Wilson not getting any run support, despite coming up big for his team in extra innings. Now he's got to go after Adley Rutschman. There's a strike again. As is the case with all the extra innings in Major League Baseball during the regular season. Every team starts out with a runner at second, nobody out. Strike 2 to Adley Rutschman, and Jackson Wilson showing no signs of letting up here on his home mound. The 0-2 pitch. Swinging a tapper, foul, and Rutschman barely able to stay alive. It's still a 4-4 game. It's been that way ever since Wilson came in for the night. He had 2 outs, nobody on. Gave up an infield single. Retired Lindor after his catcher cut down a runner stealing to get us to extra innings. Wilson's been locked in ever since. Retired Lindor. Gave the intentional walk and then got an inning-ending double play to send us to the 11th. And now here we are, Adley Rutschman batting from the left side, nobody out and a runner at second. Outside, 2-2 from Jackson Wilson, who has been nothing short of spectacular here today. If the Marlins lose today, it's certainly not fully his fault. 2-2 to Rutschman in the dirt, ball 3. The go-ahead run will remain at second. And now Wilson will look in and get another sign. On deck for the Mets is Jordan Westburg. Rutschman, who has had a lot of big hits throughout his baseball life, trying to come up with a big one right here. Lifts one foul down the left field line. Many college baseball fans remember the go-ahead home run that Adley Rutschman hit in Game 2 of the best-of-3 National Championship Series at the College World Series in Omaha for Oregon State. The pitch by Wilson, outside, ball 4. That's not completely a lost cause because a double play is once again in order. However, the Mets are probably going to be looking for a sacrifice to move both runners into scoring position. But we'll see what Westberg wants to do here. He's going to swing away. He takes ball 1 from Jackson Wilson. So Wilson, who only had a 3% walk rate entering this game, has issued 2 free passes here tonight. One of them unintentional, the other one intentional. The pitch on the way to Westberg. Back to Wilson. He's going to go to second. And everybody's safe. So an infield single loads the bases for the Mets. Nobody out in the 11th. I don't think Wilson got an error on that. But a play still needed to be made. And now, as you can see by that description, this is as tough as it gets. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 11th. Focus on minimizing the damage. If we can leave them all stranded, well, that would be quite the trick. Here we go, guys. Plays at any base. Brett Beatty at the plate for the Mets. First pitch from Wilson on the way is ripped in the air to right field, and this ball is gone. A grand slam for Brett Beatty, and the Mets have broken this wide open here in the 11th. And all Jackson Wilson can do is tip his cap to him. It only took one pitch following that mound visit, and you best believe in the back of Wilson's mind, he wants to knock some sense into his teammates. Not one, not two, but 3 chances to win this game in the bottom of the home innings. But they failed to do so, and now Jackson Wilson is in line for the loss after giving up a go-ahead grand slam to Brett Beatty in the 9th. 3 of those runs were charged to Wilson, and he'll walk off to a faint chorus of boos. The fans, out of all due respect, know that that wasn't fully on Wilson, because if they're going to boo me, they better boo our offense as well, because we completely botched that game. So Wilson drops to 1-7 on the season. He did all he could to give the Marlins a chance, but it wasn't meant to be. We ran out of miracle juice in the 11th inning. And that really goes back to that play that I should have made on the infield. I wanted to go to second base, but I waited too long because I was kind of contemplating on going to third base as well. You know, when you get those gears spinning in your head, especially knowing that you got a poor offense in your dugout, that really has taken its toll on Wilson. All right, that looks like that'll take us to the end of this series with the Mets. Man, we got swept back-to-back series at home. Ladies and gentlemen, it's back to reality. Same old bottom feeder Miami Marlins. It was fun while it lasted, but it looks like our playoff chances are fading away. That's 8 consecutive losses, but Jackson Wilson looking to finally stop the bleeding against their interleague rival, the Tampa Bay Rays. So Jackson Wilson, who enters this game with 31 total saves and 43 opportunities, will try to snap this massive losing streak for the Marlins in what has been a sorrowful month of August. The weather's been hot, but the Marlins are not. But Tampa Bay is in danger of being that team that ends the streak. Wilson looking to shut the door. Jet Williams leading off for the Rays. They'll have the 9-1-2 hitters. First pitch from Wilson is ripped down the left field line. Watch out, bullpen. Strike 1. Now the 0-1. Breaking ball downstairs, 1-1. Wilson, who has been hot and cold in this ballpark, trying to pick up his 32nd save and get the Marlins back in the win column. The pitch to Jet Williams, inside 2-1. 4-3 Fish, bottom of the 9th inning, taking on their rival, the Rays. Now the 2-1 from Jackson Wilson. It's tapped foul at the plate. 2-2. Righty facing righty. Jet Williams against Jackson Wilson. Here comes the 2-2 breaking ball on the way. Ground ball to second by Williams. Diving stop. Throw to first. Got him. 1 away. The Marlins infield flashes some leather. Takes away a leadoff single from Jet Williams. That was hitting a pretty good spot. The second baseman was cheating over to the right, but he was still able to make that throw despite making that effort from his knees at the edge of the outfield grass. Now Hunter Fiducia. Outside ball 1 from Jackson Wilson. 2 outs away from snapping the Florida Marlins' 8-game losing streak. Fiducia with a 1-0 count at the plate for the Rays. Takes a couple practice swings. Now the pitch by Wilson. Lifted in the air to left. Left fielder doesn't even have to move. 2 down here in the 9th. Marlins are 1 out away. They haven't had a winning feeling in almost 2 weeks. It could all change right here. Phil Jones Right-handed power bat. Digging in for the Rays. You tie it with one swing of the bat, but that's not going to do it there. Ground ball to third, and the streak is over for the Marlins. Jackson Wilson picks up his 32nd save, 3 away from matching a career high. And this 8-game skid is finally history for this hapless Marlins squad, which improves to 53 and 66. Wilson trying to turn it up a notch after getting roughed up pretty handily those first 2 weeks of August. As you can see, we're keeping that walk rate down. And like I said, 32 saves. We came and did our job here today. Got us back on track, at least for the time being. Now let's see if we can't double dip this series with the Rays. Nope. At this point, expect Jackson Wilson in an average of 1 time every series. Second half of the season definitely flying by. We're already in the middle of August. We are taking this to the end of our season here on Ladder of Light Gaming. So be sure to stick around, like, comment, and subscribe. A lot more action is on the way. Marlins returning home to take on the Philadelphia Phillies, trying to avoid a sweep. They tied it with 2 runs in the 8th, and now it's up to Jackson Wilson to keep the game tied with Bryce Harper coming to the plate. Wilson has owned Bryce Harper throughout his young career. Harper is 0 for his last 8 against Wilson. But the bad news about that is that he's due. Hopefully he doesn't break out in this 9th inning in a tie game. So far in this game, 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Phillies. 4 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Marlins, who trailed by 2 entering the bottom of the 8th, but they rallied to tie it. And now here is Bryce Harper. Boy, what a day he has had. 3 for 4 with a home run, 2 singles, an RBI, and a run scored. Harper, who was hitless in the first 2 games of this set, has caught fire. Looking to do the same against Jackson Wilson, and he looks at a changeup that was pretty much in the middle of the plate. The umpire doesn't give Wilson the call, but we're going to change that right now. Strike 1 to Bryce Harper. Sorry, Harper, you don't even have the luxury of the home plate umpire. 1-1 pitch inside to Bryce Harper, the leadoff batter for the Phillies here in the 9th inning. 4-4 our score. The pitch on the way to Bryce from Wilson. There's strike 2. Harper winding down a lengthy contract with the Phillies. You have to be thinking, will this be the end of his big league career once that is up? If the way he's been playing against Wilson, it definitely might be time for him to retire more sooner than later. Watch Bryce Harper make me eat my words now. 1-2 pitch. Harper stays alive. And Harper's still shaking his head. He just hasn't been able to figure out Wilson no matter how hard he has tried. 1-2 pitch inside 2-2. Great game here in Florida. Phillies 4, Marlins 4. Bryce Harper leading off after the Phillies surrendered a 2-run lead in the bottom of the 8th. It's now a dead even race to the finish line. 2-2 pitch. Harper is jammed, but he finally finds a hole for a leadoff single against Jackson Wilson. So there's life for the Phillies here in the 9th as Bryce Harper has his first hit in 9 at-bats against Jackson Wilson. Harper with 4 hits today overall, and he represents the go-ahead run with Trey Turner due to hit next. Marlins looking for the double play ball. Wilson trying to work around the leadoff base runner. The pitch to Trey Turner on the way. Downstairs, ball 1. Trey Turner, who, despite his blazing speed, has hit into 15 double plays. Wilson trying to get the best of him right here. There's that slider over the inside corner, 1-1 to Trey Turner. 4-4 game here in the 9th. The delivery by Jackson Wilson to Trey Turner in the dirt, 2-1. Wilson, who gave up a leadoff single to Bryce Harper, has his sign. Pitching in a tie game, top of the 9th. The pitch. Ripped into center, a base hit for Trey Turner. Bryce Harper will coast into second, and Philadelphia has the table set with the heart of the order coming up. Justin Crawford, perhaps the best hitter in the National League this year in terms of average. Up against Wilson in a big spot right here. The umpire says it was outside on that fastball. But Wilson again wants the ABS system. Oh my gosh, this umpire is blind. Strike one to Justin Crawford. Lefty who leans over the plate. The pitch by Wilson. Ripped foul, 0-2, and Wilson would love a strikeout, if not a double play right here. Going to go with the put-away pitch. The cutter in on the hands of Crawford. High fly ball into right. This is going to die at the warning track. Will Bryce Harper tag? Yes. The throw into third. Oh, it's a good one. And a very close play, but Harper is able to slide in safely. So now the Phillies have runners on the corners with only one out, and Kyle Schwarber due to hit next. Schwarber 0 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. All he needs is solid contact, particularly to the outfield, to score the speedy Bryce Harper. The pitch by Jackson Wilson. Schwarber takes off the plate, ball one. Schwarber this season batting .219 with runners in scoring position. He won his second World Series ring last year. The world champion from the Cubs in 2016. Hoisted the Commissioner's Trophy as a member of the Phillies in 2029. The pitch on the ground to third. They look home, and they turn the double play. I was about to say, what's the third baseman doing? Just go two. Still had plenty of time right there. And Kyle Schwarber hits into the twin killing. Jackson Wilson has done it again, bailing the Marlins out of a clutch situation. And now, can the offense finally back him up? Yes. Walk-off home run for P.J. Morlando. And Jackson Wilson is in the win column for just the second time this year. What a big win for the Miami Marlins here today. Doesn't really impact their playoff hopes much. But man, any win is big, especially when you're avoiding a sweep against a rival. You don't want to get swept by a division foe, especially on your home turf. Jackson Wilson improving to 2-7 on the year. Boy, he was clutch here today. Wilson doing better and better in those spots. The Marlins complete the comeback. They trailed 4-2 entering the bottom of the 8th. Scored 2 to tie. And then they won it in the bottom of the 9th after Jackson Wilson worked around a pair of leadoff singles. He got the heart of the order. Justin Crawford to fly out to right. And with first and third, Kyle Schwarber hit into a double play. 6-4-3. I don't know if you guys can hear in the background, but it's the song Don't Let Me Down Easy. The song playing in Jackson Wilson's head right now. He's not letting his opponents down easy. Man, another losing streak for the Fish. Man, we haven't had much to cheer about in the second half of the season, folks. This has really hit rock bottom on us. 18 games under 500, 55-73. Alas, guys, it's looking like another rebuilding season. Again, Jackson Wilson looks like he's going to be without a taste of postseason baseball. But he still had a pretty solid season regardless. Could say that for all three campaigns thus far. Jackson Wilson, who was called up in the middle of 2027. Now pitching for the Marlins here in 2030. Got a chance to finally end the losing streak here, which I believe is at 6 games at the moment for Miami. Part of the order for the Chi-Town Sox, beginning with Nick York, who swings and misses on a beautiful slider from Jackson Wilson's strike one. Wilson 3 saves away from matching his career high. Got 32 overall.
That's the ball.
Oof. That looked knee-high to Nick York. Wilson wanted that pitch bad, and he's going to get it. 0-2 the count to Nick York, who has 10 home runs and 33 RBIs. Wilson with the kick and the delivery. Perfect release, and York just gets a piece. Wilson has another sign. This time he's going to go slider. The 0-2 on the way. is ripped foul. That was a hanger from Jackson Wilson. But it remains 0-2. Wilson with the kick and the delivery. Breaking ball in the dirt. 1-2 to Nick York. York, close stance. Back of the batter's box. 1-2 from Jackson Wilson on the way. Ground ball into the hole right side. Base hit. So there's life for the White Sox here in the bottom of the ninth. Nick York not trying to do too much. Took that change up to the opposite field, and now it's A.J. Ewing. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts and a ground out. Wilson with the first delivery. It's at the knees, but again, the umpire doesn't call it. Again, that looked like that caught the bottom of the zone, but this time it goes the White Sox way. 1-0. Marlins looking for the double play ball. Here comes a 1-0 pitch to A.J. Ewing. On the ground to third, and they are going to get one. Beautifully turned with the second baseman with that beautiful ballerina spin in the middle. 5-4-3 on the twin killing. Jackson Wilson again showing why he could be a firefighter as a second gig. Because putting out fires is what he does best right now. Heck, there doesn't even have to be a fire. Firefighters are still known to save the day in other situations. Been the case for Wilson. Even when he's not getting double plays, he's still putting his team in position to succeed. 1 out away from a road victory in Chicago. Everson Pereira, last man standing for the White Sox. Bases empty, 2 down. Marlins leading 3-2. Ground ball to first. That's a fair ball. And that's your ball game here on the south side. Marlins pick up the 3-2 win, and Jackson Wilson will collect his 33rd save. 3 away from a new career high. He had 31 saves as a rookie, 35 last year. And Wilson just continues to raise that total. He's on pace for it right now. 33 for 45 overall, 20% strikeout rate. Not bad, folks, not bad. It's hard to believe we're already nearing the month of September, but time flies when you're certainly having fun, and I've definitely been having a good time here on this channel. This is Ladder of Light Gaming with Jackson Wilson, and I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves too, but most importantly, not forgetting the reason we are having these good times. It's because of Jesus Christ, what he has done, granting us eternal freedom, not to willfully sin, but to have eternal life and live with that good news and optimism, even when times get tough. Just because you're on the sea with Jesus in your boat doesn't mean there's not going to be any storms. But when Jesus is in there with you, your boat will never sink, no matter what happens. Just trust him. Repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, guys. You want to be in a better place when you die and leave this earth? You got to get right with God. All other ways lead to destruction and condemnation. I don't want that for any of you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you are new. This is Jackson Wilson, Action for Jesus, bringing you this content here on MLB Road to the Show 26 on GOAT difficulty. Winding down Season 3 of Jackson Wilson's career. But boy, oh boy, this is going to be a big spot right here. We got the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. No room to breathe. Miami leading 2-1 against the playoff-hungry Pittsburgh Pirates. Jackson Wilson will go up against Connor Griffin. If he's going to get this 4-out save, he's going to have to stop the bleeding and fast right here. Rafael Flores will come off the bench to pinch run for Pittsburgh. And now Jackson Wilson is ready. The leadoff hitter, Connor Griffin, walking to the plate for the Buccos. Wilson has his sign. First pitch to Connor Griffin is strike 1, even though the umpire didn't call it. Good thing we have that ABS system, because Jackson Wilson's been reversing a lot of calls with that feature. Strike 1 to Connor Griffin, batting with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 8th. With the Pirates trailing the Marlins 2-1. The pitch on the ground to first. Wilson stops the bleeding yet again. He's not out of the woods yet because he's still got to pitch the 9th. But boy, oh boy, this guy is turning into an absolute hero for the Miami Marlins. You know that song Ghostbusters? We're going to change the lyrics to, if you find yourself in a bases loaded jam, who you going to call? Action Jackson. Now, how will he throw with the bases empty here in the ninth? With his team only leading by a run. All the pressure is on Wilson here. One mistake, and this is a tie game. Isaac Paredes, the first man up for Pittsburgh, on the ground, or rather, a line drive down the right field line. It's going to go foul, 1-1. This raucous crowd here in Pittsburgh rises to its feet. There's a check swing by Paredes. It did not go. Wilson will challenge. The call will stand, and it's 2-1 to Paredes. Wilson with the kick and the delivery. Tap foul, 2-2. Good breaking ball. 2-1 Marlins in the ninth here at Pittsburgh. Wilson trying to lead the Fish to victory after stranding the bases loaded, coming in with 2 outs in the 8th. The pitch. High fly ball into right center. But this is going to die well short of the track. 1 down in the ninth. Neerlin making that catch for the Marlins. Now Ivan Herrera. He's 1 for 4 with a single. Batting with the bases empty. Pirates down to their final 2 outs in the ninth. Trailing 2-1 against Jackson Wilson and the Miami Marlins. Check swing and a strike call on an 86-mile-an-hour changeup. Now the 0-1 to Herrera. Breaking ball for strike 2. Wilson working in a hurry and working efficiently. The 0-2 pitch to Ivan Herrera. Tap foul, 0-2. Herrera left with no choice but to protect. That pitch was off the plate, but it was too close to take. 0-2 pitch. Got him! Strike 3. A wave and a miss by Ivan Herrera, and Jackson Wilson 1 out away from picking up a save against a really good Pittsburgh Pirates team. Wilson so far has recorded 3 outs. All 3 hitters he has faced. And now he's got to go through Harrison Bader, who has a little of everything. The speed, the power, and the clutch gene, and he shows it right there. He keeps the game alive with a base hit through the right side. Bader with good speed over at first. He could score on anything in one of those gaps. He's the guy you want on the base paths if you're Pittsburgh. And now here's the face of the franchise, Ryan Reynolds. Strike 1 from Jackson Wilson. And how fitting it would be that he would be the one to potentially tie or win this game for Pittsburgh on a beautiful Friday night here in Pennsylvania. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Wilson trying to spoil it for this sellout crowd here at PNC Park. The Pirates have got the city on their back. The city's definitely behind them as they're making a playoff push here in 2030. But Jackson Wilson is trying to silence them, at least for the moment, here tonight. 1-2, bottom of the ninth. 2-1, Miami. 1-2 pitch from Jackson Wilson. Swing and a miss! Reynolds is gone, and so are the Pirates, as the Marlins knock them off, a final of 2-1. The ship has sunk. This series is tied. Jackson Wilson with his 34th save. 1 away from matching his career high. Let's go, guys. Let's keep this up. Why don't we? Marlins improved to 57-74. Pirates drew first blood. They had 12 hits, but the Marlins only allowed 1 run. That's great pitching, especially under pressure. Jackson Wilson with the ultimate performance, coming in with the bases loaded, 2 out. He got his man to ground out to first, and then he retired the first 2 and then worked around a single by Harrison Bader. Ooh, hold the phone. Here we go again. With the rain beginning to fall here in Pittsburgh, Jackson Wilson will make his 53rd appearance. He'll pitch here in the bottom of the 11th inning with Miami ahead 6-4. Spencer Horwitz first to bat for the Bucks in front of another sellout crowd. Marlins trying to break the home fans' hearts yet again. That looked like a strike, and Wilson Looking back into our home plate umpire. Can't believe the call, and he was correct. It caught the inside corner to Spencer Horwitz. The hottest hitter for Pittsburgh in terms of runners in scoring position. Wilson trying to set him down here. A swing and a miss. Runner trying to move up to third, and he's gone. And now the Marlins are in complete control of this game. Not only leading by 2, but they no longer have that runner in scoring position to worry about. He got greedy and paid the price for it. That Marlins catcher, I tell you, he continues to make a name for himself back there. Now the 0-2 pitch to Spencer Horwitz. Wilson buries him. 2 down here in the bottom of the 11th inning. Ladies and gentlemen, we're 1 out away from matching our career high in saves for a single season. Isaac Paredes, the last man standing for the Pirates, 3 for 5. The pitch by Jackson Wilson, downstairs 1-0. Went with the first pitch curveball, and it's 1-0. Let's give him that pitch again. The 1-0 to Paredes. Perfect release, but that's lined into center for a hit. So the Pirates not going away quietly. Once again, the tying run is coming to the plate, and it's Ivan Herrera, who struck out against Wilson last night. Trying to get some redemption right here. That looked like a strike. Wilson wants the umpire to double check. And Herrera to start out ahead in the count, 1-0. Marlins 6, Pirates 4, bottom of the 11th inning. The pitch to Ivan Herrera on the way. Fouled away, 1-1. That was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. The kick and the pitch by Wilson. Ground ball to second. Marlins take the series at PNC Park. And Jackson Wilson saved both of the victories. And he has matched his career high with 35 saves here in 2030. The rubber match belongs to Miami, a final of 6-4. Despite being out-hit 14-9, the Fish are victorious. And they improved to 58-74. Still dead last in the NL East, but that kid, Jackson Wilson, giving Marlin fans a lot to cheer about late in ball games when he pitches. He has really tightened the knot since the All-Star break. He's accomplished the goal of 35 saves for a season. One more before we set a new personal record. The month of August winding down. We've got a homestand with San Diego and LA before hitting the road for a 2-game pit stop in Atlanta. Ooh, more redemption against the Padres, perhaps. Wilson leading 7-6. He could pick up a new career high in saves in front of his home fans. And there's a look at the updated numbers for Wilson, appearing in his 216th game. Got 116 saves for his big league career. ERA at 6.11. Padres and Marlins from Miami. The 9th inning is coming up. Leading off for the Friars, it'll be Fernando Tatis. Well, hello, my old friend. Tatis, who hit a walk-off home run against Wilson last year, was a victim of redemption when he faced Wilson in San Diego. Wilson trying to shut the door against these Friars yet again. The pitch to Tatis, strike one. He gave him the changeup. And now Wilson is in an extreme pain following that last play. And it looks like I may have a dislocated shoulder. So unfortunately, it looks like this might be the end of our season right here. But at the same time, it never hurts to rest because we're probably not going to the playoffs anyway. So Jackson Wilson, who had to leave this game with a dislocated shoulder, we'll leave it up to Dustin May, who finishes the Padres off. And now we'll see what the future holds for Jackson Wilson here in 2030. If this is indeed the end of the season for Jackson Wilson, what a way for him to finish it. It's definitely his best season overall. And it says I was in extreme pain, so I must have threw out my shoulder or something. And yep, due to a dislocated shoulder, we're now on the 60-day injured list. I just keep me out for the season, to be honest. Even if there's a few games left, I'd still keep me out. But see what the future holds right here. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to Ladder of Light Gaming. I'm your host, Axon Jackson Wilson, with MLB 26 Road to the Show. So we have officially finished our third full season. It was cut short by about a month because of a dislocated shoulder. But like I said, as you can see, our record was 71-91. It didn't really matter if I played or not because we're still not going to playoffs. Now, granted, with the way I was pitching and if I was out and we were in a pennant chase, that would have been a completely different story. That would have been heartbreaking, but unfortunately, I mean, injuries still stink. But at the end of the day, it was still a great run, guys. But we're once again going to be going into the off season, going back to the drawing board. We improved a little bit this year, but we still have a lot of work cut out for us if we're going to be a playoff team. So, that's 3 seasons in the books for Jackson Wilson. He is recovered from his injury, and he will be back for 2031. Ready for another fresh start. And unfortunately, we didn't get a new career high in saves, but at least we matched the total. So 35 saves, back-to-back seasons for Jackson Wilson, 116 for his career. Not too shabby, guys. And congratulations to the New York Yankees. That is the 4th World Series title for the Bronx Bombers in the last 5 years. The Yankees, after a 1-year hiatus, are back on top with World Championship number 31 as they take down the Pittsburgh Pirates. They get redemption from 1960. You guys don't know what happened in 1960. Bill Mazeroski with a walk-off home run for the Bucks to beat the Yankees in Game 7. A magical night that will never be forgotten in Pittsburgh. All right. As we advance to the off-season, I want to thank you guys once again for your support. You've been watching another presentation of MLB 26 Road to the Show on GOAT difficulty, starring yours truly, Action Jackson Wilson. Action for Jesus on PlayStation 5. Feel free to add me if you wish. And I wish you guys a blessed evening. We're going to get ready to sign off here in just a second. Let's take a look at our retired players. We're not going to go through the entire list because you guys don't want to waste time on that. Altuve and Yelich, 2 players I grew up watching. They have entered Cooperstown. 2 very deserving individuals. I know people are going to be feeling a certain way towards Altuve because of the cheating incident with the Astros. But Altuve is basically the Tom Brady of Major League Baseball. He's still one of the best players in the game. And to be able to play 19 seasons in the league and play the level he was at, it's remarkable. Same to be said with Christian Yelich. He was an incredible player as well. Well, obviously, if you're in the Hall of Fame, you need to be. All right. Ooh, we're starting to unlock some perks. As you guys can see, Wilson slowly but surely developing his game. Another call from Stephanie. I think I know what this is about. Yeah, Stephanie checking in. Let's see what she wants. Nope. I still got 1 year left of my contract. I'm going to play that out at least, and we'll see what the future holds after that. I mean, I'm going to give the Marlins a fair chance because they were the ones that took a chance on me. They drafted me in the 3rd round of the 2025 draft. I got called up in the middle of 2027, and I've been a big leaguer ever since. They haven't had to call me back down. Despite being a low overall on GOAT difficulty, I say that's a pretty big accomplishment. All right, guys, with that being said, may the peace that passes beyond all understanding and the unconditional love of Jesus Christ be yours today in His holy and almighty name. And I will see you guys for Season 4, 2031, as Jackson Wilson's young career in the major leagues with the Miami Marlins continues here on MLB 26 Road to the Show on Ladder of Light Gaming. Take care, guys. And don't forget to tune in to The Walking Dead. We are reaching the end of the Telltale Definitive Series. Just a couple episodes left. Stay tuned.